Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. It is a major decision that could impact traffic flow in Spokane for generations to come. Tonight, the Washington Department of Transportation asking people how the North-South Freeway should connect to I-90 and how engineers should move forward. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk talked to people at tonight's packed meeting and shows us the options being considered. Kyle?
Well, and we also asked WashDOT about the latest timeline. When will this thing finally be finished? They told us it all depends on if Governor Inslee approves the state budget the legislature just passed. If that happens, the North-South corridor should be done by 2030. How should the North-South Freeway connect to Interstate 90? The Department of Transportation asking the public to weigh two options.
The Department of Transportation is more concerned about the flow on the freeway, but we are advocates for the flow of the neighborhoods.
Barbara Woodbridge, president of the East Spokane Business Association, passed out flyers tonight telling people to push for option 1, which keeps many of the existing on and off ramps to I-90. Option 2 would take away the eastbound ramp to I-90 from Hamilton. Traffic would be diverted onto 3rd Avenue.
Cause more congestion in the neighborhood areas, and as we know, that's not safe.
I'm leaning towards item 1 or option 1 because I think that is better for traffic flow.
Option 2 is roughly $30 million more expensive, but officials say it could save drivers 2 minutes getting onto I-90 compared to option 1. It also includes an additional access point to I-90. Both options discussed at a packed meeting tonight.
It's good to see the turnout. We weren't sure. It tells me how important this project is. This is a significant project that a lot of people have been waiting for a long, long time.
People including Art Mell, who's lived in Spokane since 1975.
My ex-boss has told me many times that when this project's done, he's going to drive me through it. And I keep telling him I'll be dead long before that ever happens.
His son-in-law, James Faulkner, is more optimistic.
What I took out of it is progress, because we're seeing 2 options now.
He's thankful WashDOT is taking the time to listen.
It feels more thought out. It feels more like they're considering how it's truly going to impact this neighborhood. And why am I coming here? Because I'm in the neighborhood.
So WashDOT is encouraging people to take an online survey to comment on the 2 options. There's a lot to consider here, more than we could fit into this story. So we'll have a link to the survey in this article on KREM.com. Mark.
Kyle, thank you very much. Happening tomorrow, Title 42 officially expiring. The COVID-era immigration policy was put into place by former President Donald Trump 3 years ago. The past few days, police and military presence has ramped up along the southern border. But just hours ago, the Biden administration announced a new policy to counteract the influx of migrants. Coming up in 10 minutes, KREM 2's Thea Skokin explains why a record-breaking number of apprehensions took place today. And in less than 24 hours, closing arguments in the murder trial of Lori Vallow get underway. This is just the beginning of the process that will determine whether Vallow was guilty of killing her 2 children and playing a part in the death of her husband's ex-wife. When the verdict is reached, it will be live streamed, and that will be our first live look into the courtroom that has banned cameras throughout the trial. All right, turning to weather now. It looks like sun, and more sun. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Good. Jeremy, we're talking summer-like temperatures heading our way.
Oh, it is all starting tomorrow. Right now, temperatures sit pretty mild, 57 degrees outside, and that's just kind of the start of all of this heat. Across much of the inland northwest, it's drying out, and that drying out plays a big role in what we wind up seeing. Tomorrow, a couple of stray drops of water are possible, most of those up in the mountains. The real story is what comes soon thereafter. Tomorrow we top out in the low 70s. Friday, the upper 70s, and Saturday, 84 degrees. We are talking some serious heat building across much of the inland northwest, and it looks like it sticks around for quite some time. Quick peek at the weekend, 84 Saturday, we talked about it, Mother's Day, 83 degrees. It is going to be very summer-like out there, but keep in mind, 83 isn't melt you kind of hot. It's the throw on the sunscreen and maybe toss up the sunbrella if you're going to head out to the patio and maybe grill something for Mom.
Are you talking about like a parasol? Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Jeremy. Well, there is a new name in the running for Washington governor. Today, Hillary Franz announced she plans to run. Franz, a Democrat who is the current state commissioner of public lands. Today, she highlighted several issues in her announcement, including climate change, housing, and income inequality. Also in the running, Attorney General Bob Ferguson. He announced an exploratory campaign last week. And in our effort to bring you more to every story, we dug into some of the work that Hillary Franz has done right here in eastern Washington. Most notably, her work in preventing wildfires. During her time with DNR, she secured a $500 million investment to prevent and fight wildfires. She also helped deliver a new fire engine to the town of Malden following a devastating wildfire that tore through Malden and Pine City. Franz will officially kick off her campaign next Monday over in Seattle. Well, for the first time today, the Spokane Transit Authority's City Line buses open their doors to the public. Today, test riders boarded the line for the very first time. People say they enjoyed the ride and are looking forward to the launch.
It was quiet. It was fast. I didn't have to wait very long to get on.
I've been wanting to ride this bus ever since I seen it come out.
Me too, and then I'm a regular bus rider, so anything to do with Spokane Transit, I like to be on board.
I like the map in the bus that shows you where it's going. That was actually a thing that is nowhere else on other buses.
The Rapid Transit line will feature battery electric and zero-emission buses. The launch is just over 2 months away. Spokane is rebounding. That proof came in the form of an economic impact report presented by Visit Spokane this morning. In that report, promising numbers that show last year people visiting Spokane spent just over $1 billion. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward was at the presentation today. She says Spokane is on the road to recovery.
Coming out of the pandemic, we are stronger than ever, but it strengthens the economy, it grows jobs, it develops infrastructure, and it provides cultural exchange between visitors and our own citizens.
For a full breakdown of the numbers presented today, just head to our website, KREM.com.
I'm going to fight the witch hunt. I'm going to take care of clearing my name.
Well, Congressman George Santos today on the steps of the courthouse vowing to fight a federal indictment that charged him with fraud and money laundering. Santos was released on bond after pleading not guilty today. As part of that bond, he must alert federal prosecutors anytime he travels outside New York or Washington, D.C. He is due back in court on June 30th. And a potentially historic moment in women's health care tonight. The FDA unanimously recommended a popular birth control pill be sold over the counter without a prescription. The drug is called O-pill. It was first approved back in the 70s. More than 100 other countries already sell contraceptives over the counter, but if the vote passes later this summer, it'll be the first time ever here in the U.S. Well, 3 years after COVID-19 took over the U.S., today Governor Jay Inslee has finally ended the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for state employees. The change takes effect tomorrow to align with the end of the federal public health emergency, as well as the end of the vaccine requirement for federal workers. We are also learning that Governor Inslee will sign a budget to include an incentive for people to stay up to date on their COVID vaccination. So, starting July 25th, eligible state employees who choose to provide proof of their up-to-date vaccination status can qualify for a $1,000 payment. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A man who has shot and killed another man in Coeur d'Alene in a parking lot there will not face charges. Back in April, 74-year-old James Dean and his wife were walking back to their truck when they saw 30-year-old Shane Brown inside their pickup. After confronting Brown with a handgun, the suspect got into another car and police say he then hit Dean with it. And that's when Dean fired several rounds, killing the suspect. After being reviewed by a detective, it's been determined that Dean acted in self-defense. An investigation underway tonight after Spokane police shot at a man during a pursuit today. Police say it started with a call about a man with a weapon in a parking lot on West 5th Avenue. When police arrived, they say the man got into a car, but that car began to roll away, so officers had to pin it in. After that, police say the man tried to run off. He was chased by an officer who then shot at and missed the suspect, and that's when police say the man surrendered. And tonight, police still searching after an active shooter call at Pullman High School turned out to be a hoax. According to the Pullman Police Department, the school went into lockdown just before 10 this morning. Police were able to clear the building in less than 30 minutes, deciding there was ultimately no threat. Central Valley High School here in Spokane received a similar call today. And the suspect in a bomb threat that took place this weekend in Pullman will face a judge for the first time coming up on Monday. Today, Apollo Lawyer was formally charged with 3 felonies. Those charges include harassment, assault, and malicious placement of an explosive. Lawyer is accused of threatening to bomb a Pullman apartment, and during a search of the home, Pullman police say they found 2 pipe bombs. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them right to your phone.